ॐ यो देव सवितास्माकं धियो धर्मादिगोचराः प्रेरयेत्तस्य यद्भर्गः तद्वरेण्यम् उपास्महे.
Is the eye aware? Is the mind aware? Is the buddhi aware? Then you say, I know, I don't know. So that consciousness which is described as the witness, that is your Swarupa. This you who are the knower of the field, whatever may be the field of knowledge, the knower of field is the consciousness. You will understand that you as consciousness, you are actually Ishvara. You are that which is the ground of all existence. This knowledge means you will see everything in Ishvara, you will see everything in you, because you see that you are Ishvara. So this is the use of this knowledge. That means you will understand that you are the infinite. When you understand you are the infinite, all the different struggles that are based on the knowledge that you are the finite are gone. If you are the infinite, what can affect you? What is there to affect you, by the way? If everything is you, is there anything other than you by which you can get affected? Nothing. So, you will be free from samsara. So, that is what he means by seeing all beings in yourself and in me. Now, we will see the greatness of this knowledge. Okay? So, we will go through the commentary. Even api chedasi pabebhya. So what is the practical benefit of this knowledge? It's coming now. Api chedasi papebhya sarvebhya papakrittamah sarvam jnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. With the boat of knowledge, you will cross over the ocean of samsara. You will cross over all the sins. Even if among all the sinners you are the very worst of all the sinners, without the help of any savior who has to die for you, you will, by this raft of this knowledge, you will go beyond the sin. You will go beyond sin. You will understand that you are fundamentally unaffected by sin. Here in the commentary, there is a very interesting point. Even among all sinners, you are the worst sinner. You will cross the sea of sins by the mere raft of this knowledge alone. Just by this knowledge, you don't need to do special, once you have this knowledge, just by the power of this knowledge, just by the virtue of this knowledge, you will cross over the world of sin. So what is this world of sin? So he is making, is it only sin? So then what about good karma? So that means I will go to enjoy in heaven, that means I will experience all the good things, I will only get rid of my sin. It's like, all my loans get cancelled. And only my bank account remains. No. This is something that takes you beyond the relativity. That means, that shows you your true nature, which is unaffected by any relative condition. You are not the subject of any experience. You are not the enjoyer of any result. This is the result. Which means, here he is saying, even punya, that is, dharmo api iha mukshoho papam muchyate. Even dharma here means Vedic karma, the karma that is enjoined by the Veda, which is considered as very virtuous action, morally correct action, very meritorious religious action, spiritual actions, even that is considered as sin, as papam, by those who are desirous of liberation. Because it fundamentally requires a sense of doership, and its result requires the sense of being an enjoyer. So in that case, what will happen? You will have to give up your status as the infinite being. Only when you have to give up your status of being infinite, you can be the finite enjoyer of good actions and the result of good actions. The performer of good actions and the enjoyer of the result of good actions is also limitation in front of the liberation, which is infinite eternally. Right? Which is your true nature. So in front of that, religious action is also limited. Just like telling, making you a millionaire is a great merit. No, it is a great thing to be enjoyed by a person who is a pauper. But it is a curse if you are already a billionaire. You are a billionaire yesterday and they come and make you a millionaire. It's a tragedy. So you should become a trillionaire, but not become a millionaire. So everything is related. So when you talk from the point of view of infinite, even meritorious, virtuous, religious, spiritual action, dharma is also considered as sin, means limiting. That means we understand what we mean by sin. Sin equal to anything that produces trouble. Anything that is a struggle, anything that is limited is sin. So, let us say for example, in operation theatre, there is a situation. There is a big tumor in somebody's leg. So they are trying to operate the tumor, but then as they start operating, they find that the tumor has spread through the entire leg up to the knee. Then they decide to amputate the leg. Now the person is going to be very depressed. He thinks that after the operation, the leg is going to be okay, and then after at least 4 or 5 months, he is going to walk. He was not told that the leg has to be amputated, but then the doctor decides it has to be amputated. Otherwise, the person cannot survive. So to save the life of the person, the leg has to be cut. Now, cutting the leg is sin or virtue? If I don't cut the leg, it is sin. Why? Because we decipher what is sin. The doctor says, I cannot cut the leg. Come on, how can you cut the leg? Let the person live, but as long as he lives, let him live. So, allowing the person to die and not doing what is to be done by cutting the leg, that is sin. The doctor is not doing his job. But if he cuts the leg and allows the person to live, saving the life of a person is more valuable than saving a leg. Right? That's in the normal or common sense logic. So, sin is something that is relative. There is no absolute sin. So here is where when we translate the word papam into sin in English, it is not what you understand theologically as sin. Papam means that which produces a negative result, unwanted result. Punyam, that which produces a desirable result. So punyam is that which produces the result that you desire, that is pleasurable, that is appreciated. Papam is that which produces a result that is not appreciated, that is unwanted, that is undesirable, that is painful. So when there are two painful things, the more painful is more papam and the less painful is less papam. Cutting the leg, losing the leg is less papam than losing the life. Right? So that is the logic in which you have to understand. So with this logic, if you see, the good karma is less limiting, less painful than bad karma. But moksha, freedom from all kinds of limitation, freedom from all kinds of pain. Even to enjoy the good karma, let us say in this life, you have done a lot of charity. So in the next life, you have to be born in a very rich family, and let us say you will keep winning lotteries. I heard about one person who kept on winning lotteries. He wins every year, he wins some lottery. It's like a pattern in his life. Maybe he did a lot of charity in past life, that's what I was thinking. So, in the next life, you have to be born. So, to be born and growing up, to live in the mother's womb for 9 months, a lot of pain. It's not easy. And then to take birth, you have to go through pain. Then you have to, see, life is a mixed bag. You will not enjoy only pleasure. Suppose if you have to enjoy only pleasure, you have to go to heaven. And the heaven is also temporary. One fine morning, heaven will come to end. So all the beings who are living in heaven will go through the experience of death. That is painful. So you cannot give up pain. Even you go to heaven, as I told you, then there is a frontliner and the backbencher. In heaven, there is a nice movie going on, and you get the back seat because another guy gets the front seat because he did more punya. So then you have a problem. There is the ego problem because your ego is intact. Without your ego intact, how will you enjoy heaven? You cannot enjoy heaven. So even if there is a relatively good result, that is also considered as fundamentally limiting in front of liberation. That is why it is being said. By the knowledge you will go beyond jnana plavenaiva vrijum santarishyati, means papakrittamaha. Here it means the go beyond the papam. means you will go beyond papam and punyam, beyond virtue and vice, beyond good karma and bad karma. In the sense, your swarupa, your true nature is fundamentally unaffected by good and bad, fundamentally unaffected by karma and result of karma. That is the meaning here. The next one. How does this knowledge destroy the sin? Okay, now we are all talking about burning karma. Karma cleansing workshop. You go for karma, we ask you to look at violet light, put some karma into that and it gets burned and stuff like that. So let's see if it's like this. How does this knowledge destroy sin? Yathaidhamsi samidho nirbhasmasat kurute arjuna jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. Yathaidhamsi samidho agnir bhasmasat kurute arjuna. Just as a well lighted and well kindled fire reduces different kinds of fuel, reduces the wood and the fuel to ashes. In the same manner, jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. In the same manner, the fire of knowledge reduces all the actions to ashes. Here, samidho means the well kindled, bright, and the brightly burning conflagration. It's like a conflagration. It is like a very, very well burning fire. It reduces all the fuel. Now there's a little small thing there. You put one big piece of wood on top of that, it gets switched off. So when you feed, the strength of the fire depends on, what the fire can burn depends on the strength of the fire. So well kindled fire means a powerful fire. How a powerful fire burns all the wood to ashes, similarly karma burns all the, jnana burns all the karma to ashes. How does it burn? Don't think that the fire of knowledge literally burns how the fire burns wood. Here it means it makes the seed of karma ineffective from producing the result. I do an action because I have the idea that I am the one performing this action. I have the sense of ownership over the action and ownership over the result of action. When the result of action comes to me, I am enjoying, I become the enjoyer of the result of action or the sufferer of the result of action. Right? Now, how the karma seed is there, this tendency to consider myself as the doer and the enjoyer, and the vasana, the kartrutva, bhoktutva, which is the idea that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, which is based on ignorance, plus the vasana regarding the impression left by an experience. This is called seed of karma. Seed of karma is the tendency to do, considering oneself as a limited individual, plus the tendency for action, plus the sense of value, the sense of importance that a particular situation or a particular object has in your mind. That's called vasana. It is like Pavlovian conditioning, you study in psychology. Every day you ring a bell and then give one bell. My hand goes like this. Here usually the bell is like this. So every time you ring a bell and then put some biscuit for a dog. Then after 4 or 5 days, the moment you ring the bell, the dog will start salivating. Looking for a biscuit. This is vasana. It associated the bell with the biscuit, with the pleasant sensation of eating the biscuit. Gratification. So bell equal to gratification. The biscuit and the other things and the connection and the whole condition that surrounds it is gone. Our mind is also like this. There is no difference between the dog and us. We are all thinking the dog is a stupid dog, he doesn't know, he can simply ring the bell and not give the biscuit. But we also work like switch. Once the mind creates a switch for something, the moment that stimuli is present, the whole vasana is the way in which I have conditioned myself to associate with a particular object. The moment that object is present, my whole vasana comes there and there is a relationship with that object. This is vasana. Just like how the dog has cultivated a relationship with the bell. Why the vasana is there? Because it points to something that affects me. Vasana means I always relate with an object in a manner that it affects me positively or negatively. I never relate with an object free from vasana. No? J. Krishnamurti used to ask, can the mind be free of habit? Can the mind be completely alive to a moment, with total freedom, completely free from habit, so that it is available for the moment entirely? He used to keep talking this all the time. There is nothing but freedom from. Can the mind act in complete freedom without being conditioned by any vasana? Suppose there is some object which you have absolutely no clue about, and you have not heard about it, you don't know what it is. No, mind has not come to any conclusion. There, and also you are just satisfied. You just had your hot chocolate and you are very satisfied. And then this object comes in front of you. There is no vasana acting in that moment. So, the mind is aware of the object without the sense of doership or enjoyership. So here, what pushes us into action is my likes and dislikes, my vasana and my individuality that empowers the vasana. This is what makes me relate with the world around me. The moment I am put in a situation, all the vasanas pertaining to that situation come forth. They used to do this, vasana is very strong. They used to do this experiment with the children. No? What this child will become. They will put a lot of toys around and make the baby go. Whatever he takes, based on that, the child will be trained. If he takes a gun, they will make him military. If he takes a book, they will make him a professor. Like this, I have heard. They do this. You know, in India also, I saw in an old movie, they did this. He will go and take a stethoscope. He will become a doctor. You know, this kind of, the vasana. They do this to study the tulkus, this reincarnated lamas. They will see if the child is reincarnated. They will put one object from his past life in a sea of so many objects, so many other objects which are very glittering, which can distract his attention. No? And this child, this tulku child, will go straight to that one little, completely unattractive object which is connected to his past life, and he will go and take that. Like that, they will do so many tests, and then only they will confirm a tulku. This is a tulku, it's a reincarnated lama. This is that lama who got incarnated. They will say like this. How they do that? The vasana works. In this janma, this lama was doing japa in a certain mala with a specific bag. So he was very attached to this all the time doing japa. So when he died, this vasana is there. So in the next body, when he is there, when somebody put the japa mala in the middle of a lot of things, very shiny toys, Japanese toys, glittery things, he looks at all that, and then the moment this japa mala, he sees that, it produces a very deep impact response from inside. That is vasana. This is what governs our life all the time. Karma, vasana. So, here he says, you will just by the, this power, this fire of knowledge will reduce to ashes all the karma. Means, it hits at the very core of karmic cycle, which is the idea that I am an individual. If the idea that I am an individual, avidya and asmita, if that is not there, where the vasana is there? For whom is the vasana? Vasana means a locus. So when the vasana does not have a locus, it is the karma, the seed of the karma, the seed that can sprout the tree of karma regarding all, because there is only one seed for all karma. All the karmic patterns are centered in that single seed of avidya and asmita. So when that is burnt by the fire of knowledge, which is based on avidya, is nothing but ignorance. Knowledge removes ignorance. When ignorance is removed, the individuality, which is only an imagination based on ignorance, is removed. So the idea that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer is removed. Because of this, karma cannot proliferate itself anymore. Because karma is jata. In Upadesha Saram, Ramana Maharshi says, karma kim param, karma tajjatam. How can karma be the highest? Karma is inert. Karma is only a mechanism. It needs somebody to drive it. If there is no driver, there is no karma. Karma is only a mechanism which needs to be driven by an intelligent being. It's only a pattern. The intelligent being has to identify himself or herself as a himself or herself. The intelligence has to consider itself as a himself or herself, and then it has to see itself in relationship with the karma and the result of karma. Only then the karma can proceed. Otherwise, the karmic cycle cannot propagate itself. That is how it burns. The jnana burns karma, means it renders the seed of karma ineffective from sprouting. That is how. Don't take it literally as it is burning. There is some fire inside and all the karmas go into the heart and get burnt. They will say, it burned and I could see my karmas burning and violet smoke and yellow smoke and pink smoke coming out. I saw a New Age fellow told me. So it's not like that. No? If anybody takes burning karma and asks you to do a lot of things, all those doing is karma. Whatever you do to burn karma, you are making more karma, actually speaking. Because as long as the doership and enjoyership is not gone, karma cannot be, it's not burnt, it's called roasting the seed. Roasting the seed means, if you this seminta. You put the seminta in a flower pot and take care of that, give the right conditions and all that, it can sprout. But I roast the seminta nicely, and then you put it in the world's best greenhouse, it cannot sprout. Like that, when the seed of I being the karmi, I the doer is gone, that is the seed. When that is gone, the karmic patterns cannot propagate or cannot proliferate themselves. So that is what is meant by karma is burnt. Okay? That is why sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. It burns all the karmas. Karmas are infinite. What they say? Karmas are infinite. How many janmas? They say sanchita karma is based on countless lives before. It is not only your life, your karma interlinked with everybody else's karma, everybody else's karma interlinked with your karma, and all your karma interlinked with the collective karma, and with the unmanifest karma, then it will come to end. So the jnana burns all the karma. Means what? It means no matter how much karma is there, once you are out of the matrix, what is inside the matrix does not bother you. That's what it means. It means the seed which connects you to the cycle of karma, that seed is burnt. That means that seed is not there anymore. It is negated. It is like how the light dispels darkness, knowledge dispels the ignorance, which is the seed of karma. Okay. So these are all arthavada. Even if you are the worst among sinners, when you ask, that means enlightened people are the worst sinners? No, that doesn't mean enlightened people are the worst sinners. It's a way of saying, even the worst kind of sin, if you take tantric literature, they will say, even if you have killed 100 Brahmins, killing a Brahmin is supposed to be a big sin. No? Like killing a cow, killing a Brahmin, these are all considered as very big sin in the Vedic culture. So even if you have killed a Brahmin, here you can say, the Parinte killer, the one who has killed 1,000 Parinte. What a horrible karma it is. No, at least if you kill a few decades, I will consider you as a good Kshatriya, you save the society. Poor Parinte, he takes care of such a sattvic person, you are killing the sattvic person. So a person who kills a Brahmana is supposed to have the highest kind of sin. Brahmahati dosham. Even that is burned with the fire of knowledge. When the Viveka awakens, they will say, when the Kula Kundalini wakes up, even the dog cooker is a Brahmin. The one who cooks and eats dog meat, even that person is a Brahmin. When the Kula Kundalini has not awakened, even if the person is a Brahmin, he is as good as a dog cooker. The one who cooks and eats dog. Milecha, it's called. Okay? So, even a Brahmana is a Milecha if he has not awakened to the intelligence. Even a so-called Milecha becomes a Brahmana if he has awakened to Viveka. Kula Kundalini here means Viveka. Okay? So like this is a language that is being used. So even if you are the worst sinner, you will cross with the raft of knowledge all the sins. Which means what? You are not a sinner. You are not the worst of sinner. You have a lot of merit. So obviously because. So sin and even the worst sin means these normal things doesn't matter. Even the worst of sins means that quality, the grade of sin does not matter. It is the category of where this karma, the category of karma, the karma belongs to the category of mithya. Right? Action, result of action. Good action, result of good action. Bad action, result of bad action. Why it is good or bad? Because of the result. If an action produces a good result, it is good action. Action produces an undesirable result, it is bad action. Both of them belong to the realm of mithya. Because you are understanding yourself as the satya, satya is not affected by mithya, so you are not affected by karma. This is the logic. Okay? That is how it is able to burn all the karmas, because all the karmas, once you understand pot is clay, you have understood every pot is clay. Sir, have you seen that special designer pot from Milano? That is also clay? Yes, that is also clay. Like that. Okay. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramih vidyate kalenatmani vindati tat swayam yoga samsiddhah kalenatmani vindati. In this world, there is indeed nothing more purifying than knowledge. The one who has in time attained preparedness through karma yoga naturally gains this knowledge in the mind. Now, nahi jnanena sadrisham tulyam pavitram pavanam shuddhikaram iha vidyate. There is nothing here comparable to knowledge as the purifier. You know, if I do some good karma, it releases some bad karma, neutralizes some bad karma. Is there anything that solves all my problems in one stroke? If there is a one little super pill that cures all my diseases, including my obesity, no, it cures everything and makes sure that there will be no more disease. No matter, it is like this miracle spray that I saw on TV advertisement. No, there is whatever you want, you can eat. Before eating, you have to spray in your mouth that thing and then eat. You will not put on weight, no matter what you eat. I saw one thing like this. I don't know how much it works. So like this, you have a lot of stuff. Some says Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga will deliver you from everything. You can go to Brahmaloka after you die, straight up. And then one raft will come and take you. In Indian movies, they will show you. If you are a great yogi, at the time of death, one little box will come with wings from heaven. This yogi will go and sit in that and fly up. They will show in Indian movie. That means that saint has attained moksha. He has gone to Vaikuntha to be with Lord Narayana. This comes in old movies. So like this, then you have a lot of very purifying say. Rama Nama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Kalau Kalpasha Chittanam. In Kali Yuga, when the mind is completely, rendered impure, Papa Dravyopajivinam, all your money comes from sinful means. No matter what dignified work you work, it comes from sin. Because money is fundamentally controlled by the power of sin in Kali Yuga. The more money you have, the more sin you have. It's okay, money is useful. What to do? No, this is the point. The more money you have in Kali Yuga, the more sin you have. You cannot have a money that is completely free from sin. Because everything you touch, there is sin. Anything you touch. American intelligence has put its nose on everything. Kali Purusha, that is Kali Purusha. America is Kali Purusha. So it has put its nose on everything. So, Papa Dravyopajivinam, your livelihood comes from sin. Vedic Kriya Vihinanam, not only that your livelihood comes from sin, you have no proper methods and spiritual practices to clear that. Vedic Kriya Vihinanam. A Brahmin does not do Sandhyavandanam. I ask a Brahmin, he says, I am a Brahmin. Oh really? What is your Gotra? What is a Gotra? What is your Veda? What Veda? Hey, I only know that I am a Brahmin. Then how did you become a Brahmin? I don't know. My father has said we are all Brahmins. Then how come you are a Brahmin? Nothing, no clue about what is a Brahmin. But he is a Brahmin. This is called Kali Yuga. You only have this caste identity. I am a Brahmin, this is in India. Like this here you have a name, Popescu. Popescu means your ancestor, somebody was priest. What happened to that Popescu? that priest gone. And you are doing something else, completely unconnected. So this is the Varna system is completely gone. And once committed Dharma, the Dharma to which a person is committed, nobody has any clue about what is Dharma. This is called Vedic Dharma. You are not having any spiritual tools to take care of you. There are all kinds of workshops that are showing you very exotic spiritual tools which are completely unconnected with your culture, which are completely unconnected with your ability, but you get worked up. It is all there only to confuse you more. You go learn Reiki, you go learn pranic healing, you go learn magnified healing, you go and learn some other healing, shamanic healing, ayahuasca, whatnot, and then you are only confused. Then you sit for meditation, you don't know what meditation to do. No, this is called Vedic Vihinana. In Kali Yuga, when your situation is like this, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, only the Lord's name can save you. Hare Krishna's propaganda. Hare Krishna propaganda. So only the Lord's name can save you. Means what? You chant the name of the Lord. To some extent, it can neutralize the karmas of other things. So here, that is why we have, you will not get jnanam by doing all these actions. How you get knowledge? You get knowledge by learning from the teacher with a proper attitude after becoming a prepared person. That is what this verse is discussing. There is nothing purifying as knowledge. That there is no higher purifier than knowledge. Means knowledge is the only thing that gives you a quantum leap from the limited to the unlimited. And you are out of the matrix. This is knowledge. It means it completely takes you out of this whole dimension. It shows you another dimension totally. That is the power of knowledge. That is why it is considered as the highest purifier. No purifier equivalent to knowledge. Because it shows that you are the purity. Everything gets purified because of you. You are neither pure, you are not, or you are impure. So it takes you completely beyond the relative world. So there is nothing as purifying as knowledge. How do you get this knowledge? Tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalen atmani vindati. The one who has perfect yoga samsiddha, the one who has very well perfected in the art of yoga, in the practice of yoga, whoever is able to do headstand for half an hour. Yoga samsiddha here means the one who has perfected his mind, the one who has reached the perfection of mind by living a life of yoga. By living a life of karma yoga, here yoga means karma yoga, not jnana yoga, not bhakti yoga, not raja yoga. Don't like this, I'm joking. Yoga means only one. Yoga is the process of purifying the mind. Yoga is an attitude. When this attitude backs your actions become a purifying force. The actions prepare your mind for knowledge. So yoga equal to attitude. Yoga buddhi. What do you do? You do karma. Raja yoga, practicing meditation, bringing the mind and concentrating in the eyebrow center, dharana. That is what? Mental karma. It is mental action. Meditating on Lord Shiva on every pradosham, mental action. Meditating on Lord Narayana on Ekadashi, mental action. Chanting Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, verbal action. Doing different, tarpanam, homam, etc. Offering in the fire, offering flowers, doing puja. All that is physical karma. Kaikam, vachikam, manasam. So whatever you talk about as different yogic practices, different mystic practices, whatever you think about, all of them are action. Action at the body level, action at the prana and mind level, action at the buddhi level, action at the speech level. It is all only action. So you don't do yoga, you do what? Karma. You do karma with the attitude of yoga. The karma, same Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, done with an attitude that I am the only one who does 10,000 repetitions per day in the entire Romania. That is not yoga. That becomes bhoga. You are enjoying the egoistic status that I am the one who does maximum japa. So you can see in Chennai, in South India, there is this group called the Sri Vidya Upasaka groups. They are all considering themselves to be the best people in mantra, because Sri Vidya is considered as the highest of mantras. Since they all do this kind of practice, the Sri Vidya Tantra, they are into that. They are all very heavy-headed. They think they walk only 2 feet above the ground. And then they will say, I have done 1 crore japa. I have done 3 puruschanas. I have done 4 puruschanas. This is the top. It's like talking how much bank balance you have. I have 1 million, 2 million. What about your stocks? They talk in Wall Street. Like that, they will stop in temple. They go to the temple, and then I went to Kashi. I did this. I did so much. When I did, I went to last month. I went to the Ganges and I did 10,000 avarti of Panchadashi mantra. That's all. The next person feels very insecure. Then I am going to Kashi next. So the same competition mind comes in spiritual things also. So if I am doing the greatest of mantras, Sri Vidya, with the attitude that I am the greatest austere person here hanging around, and I have a lot of good karma, which I will become this, I will become that, you are not doing yoga. You are doing bhoga. I am the one who can do headstand for, they say annual chinchpe. Annual chinchpe, there is a yoga group which says, what are you doing? Do you practice yoga? Yes. Do you practice yoga? Yes. I am in the 21st year of yoga. I have done yoga for 21 years. You know which group. So this means what? You think you are the doer. First of all. And you are very proud about that. So your identity comes from that. I do Sirsasana 1 hour. I do 1000 Nauli. I do 4 times pranayama every day, 24, exactly in Hatha Yoga Pratipika. In fact, my Kundalini can go up and come down in half an hour. These kind of things when you say, you are a bhogi. You are not doing yoga. What are you doing? I am doing my homework. What are you doing this for? Because I have to do this. God's grace, I am able to do this. Tomorrow what will happen if you are not able to finish the homework? I don't know. If I am able to finish the homework, God's grace, I finish the homework. I hope everything is correct. If the teacher appreciates me, that is prasad from the God. Your homework becomes yoga. When you bring Ishvara with a buddhi, that attitude of offering all the actions to the Lord and receiving every result of action as a gift from the Lord, and you don't consider yourself as the agent of action, and you don't consider yourself as the owner of the results, then whatever you do is yoga. Okay? There is even karma yoga in Nishiddha karma. Even prohibited action can be converted into yoga. So there is not a single action that cannot be converted into yoga, and there is no action which by itself is yoga. There are only you do actions, yoga is an attitude. So a person who has perfected this attitude of yoga, yoga samsiddha, who is perfected in yoga, and that person lives his everyday life in the attitude of yoga, he or she, that person over a course of time means attains the preparedness of the mind, develops. When you live a life of yoga, how do you become prepared for knowledge? You will develop what is called sadhana chatushtaya, viveka, vairagya, mumukshutva, shatka sampatti. When you don't hold on to the results, when you don't define yourself based on the results of your actions, when you are not overtly having strong preferences, I will do this, I will not do that, likes and dislikes, when your decision making in a given moment is not coming purely from personal preference because you are not attached to any specific outcome, what happens? Your mind develops a kind of objectivity. When the mind develops a kind of objectivity, it develops viveka automatically. It is able to see the defect in the cycle of action and result of action. It is able to see the defect where the common mind is not able to see a problem. Common mind, if you have a good salary, good wife, good children, good car, and life goes on every day, summer you go to somewhere and make some meditate, your life goes on, very good life. He doesn't see any problem there. But a person with viveka sees the temporariness of it all, sees the need for moksha, the moksha crystallizes as a only worthy thing for pursuing. Thus, the mind with Viveka crystallizes moksha as the only Purushartha. When a life is well lived in the attitude of yoga, you will recognize moksha as the only thing that is worth striving for. And then you will also understand moksha cannot be striven for. Nasti anurattatena. Moksha being eternal, it cannot be a result of action. Because moksha, liberation, is not a result of action. Why it cannot be a result of action? What I am talking about as liberation is something eternal. If it is eternal, how can it be a product of action over time? It cannot be. So, moksha is something to be discovered, something that is already there. If it is already there and it is eternal and it cannot be attained, if I have to attain moksha and moksha cannot be attained, that means moksha has something to do with my own nature. So what am I? Then the search for moksha, the search for liberation matures into search for knowledge. Then that person can go to the teacher. That is called preparedness. So over a period of time, when this person who is committed to the life of yoga is perfected in the attitude of yoga and lives its life, in course of time, one will gain, see the translation, one translation is one will win it in one's own self. It's not like that. Wins it, this knowledge in the self after the lapse of a long time, this is the idea. Means by which knowledge is one unfailingly is pointed the means by which knowledge is one unfailingly is pointed out. So how this person obtains this over a long period of time? What is obtained? Means Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparah samyate indriyaha jnanam labdva param shantin ajirena adhigacchati. The man of Shraddha who has mastered the senses. After mastering the senses, the person with Shraddha and who is intent on the knowledge wins knowledge. Obtaining knowledge, he attains without delay the supreme peace. We will see that now. The one who in time attained preparedness through Karma Yoga naturally gains this knowledge in course of time. Then the one who has faith in the Shastra and in the words of the teacher, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. It is a very important, often quoted phrase from Bhagavad Gita. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. The one who is endowed with Shraddha attains jnana. He is not saying the one who is has the eightfold powers acquired by yoga. The one who can go into samadhi and come out of samadhi like that attains jnana. The one who is every day having 10 gods coming and giving him vision attains jnana. No. The one who has Shraddha attains jnana. Shraddha, this faith in the words of the teacher and the tradition and the Veda. This Shraddha is an automatic consequence of maturity. You cannot force Shraddha on a person. Shraddha comes from maturity. There are people who can be forced to have Shraddha for a temporary time because of helplessness. You know, all these evangelizing organizations, you have these spiritual cults which are seeking to grab some people. They will always, if you see how they sustain the people's faith, they will not allow you to be exposed to knowledge. They will cut you off from all the other social connections, and then they will indoctrinate your mind through your vulnerable point. I know a Christian preacher in Chennai, what he did, he goes to the so-called low caste people. Okay, this caste system does not exist in India. We have Varna system. Caste system is the Western branding of what we practice in India. There is a Jati system. Varna based on birth. Okay, so this person goes to the lesser privileged section of the society, and he will say, "You people are all neglected. You people are all looked down upon. Come to Jesus Christ. In His eyes, all are one. Embrace Christianity. He will do everything for you. He will give you rest. This, all that. It's very aggressive. And then first they will give some rice, and they will give some money and all that, and then they will start listening. Now, the poor guy, he has a lot of problems. You go and solve a couple of problems because you have a lot of foreign money coming in. And then you solve, the average cost of converting one Indian to Christianity, $9,500 US. Can you believe? They spend on an average $9,500 per head to convert them to Christianity. This is the average cost. Only the American evangelics. Only the American evangelics. Then you have the British, you have the Dutch, you have the Scandinavian, you have the Australian. This a whole big list is there. But anyway, they'll come like this. They come and talk to the underprivileged fellow, give him some money, give him some rice and all that, and then convert him. Try to convert him. Then they'll come to the Brahmin. He'll say, you people are the highest, you are the highest caste in your religion. See how your religion people, because in Tamil Nadu, they created this Aryan Dravidian divide and there is a lot of anti-Brahmin sentiment. So they will come to the Brahmin and say, you are not respected anyway. Why don't you come and join our Christian Brahmins forum? A bunch of Brahmins, confused fellows, they got converted into Christianity. They have something called Christian Brahmin Association. There, we will give you prominence. We will make you the chief pastor of our area. Then we will give you special prominence, special privileges. You will get a lot of respect because you are a Brahmin converted to Christianity. So why don't you come to Christianity? So each place this fellow will go and talk one thing. So you prey on the, prey means P-R-E-Y, prey, like a tiger. You prey on the vulnerable emotions of an individual, and in a weak moment the individual may have some kind of Shraddha-like thing. He may believe what you say because the person is helpless. That is not Shraddha. If the person has Shraddha, the Shraddha cannot be shaken. That is Shraddha. So Shraddha, what we are talking about, is born of maturity. Every time you open your eye to see an object, you have Shraddha in your eye as the valid means of knowledge to show an object. You don't use your eyes for hearing a sound. There is, what is this sound? You don't look with your eyes for the sound. You look with your ears. You try to understand the sound with your ears. To recognize an object, you don't use your tongue to taste. Or you smell. No. You recognize an object through smell, but you cannot recognize the form through smell. So this is the definition of pramana. When you understand what is pramana, valid knowledge, a pramana, a means of knowledge, becomes a valid means of knowledge when what it can reveal cannot be replaced by any other means of knowledge. In the same way, what the teaching can reveal cannot be replaced by any other means of knowledge. All things that can be objectified, including your intellect, you can understand through different means of knowledge. Your mind can be understood by psychology, some therapy, some interaction, but you cannot objectify yourself. So, you can only experience yourself, but you can never know what you are by yourself. That is why the teaching becomes the valid knowledge for knowing your own true nature, which cannot be replaced by any other means of knowledge. When I understand this, I surrender to that means of knowledge. Every time, if you ask me what is the color of the book in front of you, I surrender to my eyes. I open the eyes. I completely surrender my ego to the eyes. I have no issue with the eyes in showing me that this is a green color wrapped book. I surrender to my eyes. I surrender to my nose. Every time I smell a perfume in the supermarket, I surrender to my nose. This is what I need to understand. This is Shraddha. I have Shraddha in my 5 senses when I want to connect with the respective objects. I have Shraddha in my logical thinking capacity. I have Shraddha in the rules of logic. Can anybody convince you that God is sitting inside a square circle? No matter how many angels come from heaven, they cannot convince you after you have done at least some high school, they cannot convince you that 2 plus 2 is 5. They cannot convince you God is inside a square circle. This is the power of Pramana. Because logically I am very clear. When I understand, I have Shraddha towards logic, The logical order is infallible. So I have complete Shraddha in the logical method. If logic says this, that is why it becomes very, very, for all my experiences, for all my logic, I am a limited person. So, we require the entire method of teaching to convince you that you are the universe. I am telling you, this book is you. It's not easy to understand. Every pramana that I know tells me this book is book and not me. My experience tells me the book is book and not me. But if you have Shraddha in the tradition and the teaching, you can be made to see this book is you. The process of seeing is you. The seer of the book is you. And you are none of this. That is possible only when you make yourself available to the pramana. That is why Shraddhavan labate jnanam means the one who has Shraddha attains jnana. Shraddhavan labate jnanam tat paraha samyatendriya. How? When? After mastering all the sensual cravings, the wild running sense faculties are under one's control. That means I am able to command some level of objective, undisturbed attention on what I want to understand. My likes and dislikes do not cloud my understanding. We had an experience, the other day when we went to the park, we were sitting. This magnolia, some tree, it was magnolia, right? Three magnolia trees were there. There was a small magnolia tree, 50 feet away. So she was looking at something and see that nice magnolia tree, because I was seeing the other two trees which are much closer. Because the attention got carried away by that faraway magnolia tree, I could not notice two trees bigger than that tree which is closer than that. It's here also. Then she said, yes. But when the mind is preoccupied with something, the buddhi is not available to recognize what is more obvious than what I am seeing. Somebody asked Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, do you see God? Yes. More clearly than how I see you. This is what he said. But we have to do like this and still we don't see God. No? So he said, I see God only much more clearly than I see you. It's a very, very powerful statement. No? So because my likes and dislikes cloud my understanding, I cannot sometimes even recognize what is obvious. Then later we say, how did I miss it? We say, no. That's because the buddhi is covered up temporarily by some preference, something. It's called pratibandhaka. Pratibandhaka means something that blocks my knowledge. The means of knowledge is there, the object of knowledge is there, I am there, but somehow I am not able to effectively operate the means of knowledge. 3 magnolia trees are there, the 2 big trees, it was not possible to recognize till my preoccupation with the little magnolia tree has ended. Once that little faraway magnolia tree is not taking my attention anymore, suddenly all the magnolia trees around me becomes bright. The same thing happens with jnana. So, the vision of yourself as the universal is clouded by layers and layers of habit patterns, samskara, vasana, conditionings and preconceived notions and very powerful ideas. All this is blocking it. So, you need phenomenal Shraddha till you understand in the means of knowledge. And not only Shraddha, you need to some extent have a kind of mastery over your sense faculties, mastery over the ways of thinking, so that you are able to get rid of all the other preoccupations and make yourself available for the teaching to operate on you. That's why samyatendriyaha jnanam ladva param shantim achirena adhikacchati. Winning the Shraddha who has mastered his senses and who is intent on it means who has Pramana Nischaya, Purushartha Nischaya. The one who is very committed to attaining the knowledge. The one who is very committed to the knowledge of the self. Jignaso, I don't bother about anything. It's called Samadhana in sixfold inner wealth, if you remember. The 4 qualifications for enlightenment. The 4 qualifications for self-knowledge. Becoming a student of self-knowledge. Viveka Vairagya Mukshitva Shakka Sampatti, you know. The Shakka Sampatti is Samadama Uparama Tiksha Samadhana Shraddha. Now, Shraddha, there is something called Samahitaha. Here, that intent on the knowledge is Samahitatma, the one whose mind has settled down to this single pursuit. Single-minded pursuit means I don't care for anything other than this. You know, it's like they say, somebody said, I don't know, I think this again is Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna says, you have to love God with the combined love of a lover for her beloved, the miser for his money, and a dying man for his life, and a mother for the child. No? The combined love of all this, you have to love. That means what? There are different kinds of attractions we have towards different things. May all the attractions, may they resolve themselves into this one single-minded pursuit. That is one-pointedness and commitment to knowledge. Because knowledge gives me what is infinite. Nothing gives me what is infinite. Because knowledge shows me that I am infinite, nothing can deliver better than knowledge. When I really understand this, my mind is not available for anything else. So that person who is intent on knowledge alone, after having some relative decent level of mastery over the sense faculties and the mind, the movements of the mind, with Shraddha, because you have the story of this Rakshasa in Indian mythology, you have these demonic characters. They have phenomenal sense control. Arjuna also had sense control. You know? Arjuna, he has done phenomenal austerities to get certain divine missiles. It's called Pashupatastra, the missile of Lord Shiva. There is a Lord Shiva's mantra can be converted into a missile, mantra missile. You know? Brahmastra, like that you have different missiles. So he got different missiles and equipped himself during the time when he was in exile, so that he can become ready for war. You know, he has it's like a rebel group acquiring ammunition. So in those days the war was based on astras, Astra Vidya. So he was accumulating all these weapons, divine weapons. So, for that requires austerity, standing in one leg and doing tapasya for years together and all that. And then you have these asuras who are supposed to be doing penance. There was one Rakshasa who used to do a few days standing on ice, another a few days standing on fire, burning himself in fire, and then doing all these kinds of very severe austerities they used to do. Phenomenal sense control. Very one-pointed mind towards the goal. I want to get these powers. They do so much austerity, the divine beings have to come down and give them boons. Lord Shiva and Vishnu, they have no choice. If you keep invoking a deity with all your attention, even you may have the worst of intention. You use the right technology with the right concentration, the deity has to come. So all the demonic beings were also doing it. But Shraddha is not. It is all done for my purpose. So concentration is good. They are all add-ons. The knowledge comes by Shraddha. The Shraddha that is supported by sense control, mind control. The Shraddha that is supported by one-pointed person. But fundamentally what makes the knowledge happen? Shraddha. That is why Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Okay? Only by Shraddha knowledge comes. So all these three is required, even though he may have a good intention, but the senses are not mastered. The one who has not, who is not able to control the sense faculty, the one who is not able to command the sense faculties and command a certain level of attention, even though has Shraddha, even though has intention to acquire the knowledge, is incapable of acquiring the knowledge, is impotent, cannot acquire the knowledge. The knowledge will not take effect. If I cannot sit and concentrate for half an hour, what is the point of surrendering to the teacher? What is the point of being very keen about getting, but I cannot apply myself to a given situation? So these three are required. And then, when these three are there, they form the unfailing means to knowledge. Jnana labdhi upaya. That is why he says, Yoga tattva darshana upaya. Yoga is a very helpful factor for knowledge to happen. In Brahma Sutra commentary, Shankaracharya defines yoga as a very helpful aid for acquiring knowledge. Yoga will not give you enlightenment, but yoga is a very essential, very helpful, a very effective support for attaining enlightenment. Supporting factor. You have to have all the supporting factors. It is like cooking, rice is food, but I need all the supporting factors to cook rice. Like that. To make the rice palatable, I need the supporting factors. Similarly, for the knowledge to take place, the mind should be devoted to yoga. The mind should be prepared by yoga. That's what it all this means. What follows from gaining knowledge? Once you gain knowledge, you win the peace supreme. Liberation or with joy is attained without delay immediately. Kim punaha jnanalabha syatiti uchyate jnanam labdhva param mokshakhyam shantim uparadim achirena Kshipram eva adhigacchate. You get supreme peace without delay. Means what? It is not, you don't attain, you listen today, and then tomorrow you go and practice the knowledge, and after 100 years you get peace. No. Knowledge means as you listen, right there you win the supreme peace. This is one school. They say as you listen and don't clear all your doubts, and then you are completely committed to the knowledge, you gain supreme peace. Depending on the level of preparedness of the person. If the person is of top grade preparedness, as you listen, you are Brahman, right there you enjoy the supreme peace of your own true nature. Right there. Jnanat mukti, jnana eva mukti. Knowledge is liberation. So if the knowledge has taken place, right there you are liberated. Okay? Without delay means the knowledge and the peace which is the result of knowledge, there is no time lag. Knowledge means peace. The supreme peace is knowledge. That's what it means here. And then, Samyak Darshanat Shuprameva Moksham Bhavati iti Sarva Shastram Nyaya Prasiddha Shunishchidaha Arthaha. This is the very clear statement. It is a very clear declaration by all the scriptures and all the sources of knowledge. That liberation immediately follows from the right person. It's an unshakable opinion or doctrine established by all the shastras, all the valid scriptures or sources of knowledge. Atra samshayah na kartavyah papishto hi samshayah katham iti uchate. No doubt is admissible in this respect. No doubt is admissible in this respect. Doubt is most despicable indeed. How? Now, opposite of Shraddha. If Shraddha is not there, see, there is no compromise in Shraddha. If Shraddha is not there, and if you are constantly doubting the validity of the scripture and the teaching, there is nothing worse than it. So what happens? There is one of the most negative traits that a person can have. A fundamentally doubting mind. A mind that is fundamentally incapable of Shraddha. This is one of they say, the most sinful condition means the result of a lot of sinful living, negative karma is a mind that is incapable of trust. It's a very sad thing, In the mind, there are a lot of people who are completely incapable. They have this very high suspicion about spiritual teachings, about any scripture. That's why they say, you have a lot of people who say, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Self-knowledge has nothing to do with religion. The teacher from India will rush. He will be in a great rush to say, yoga is not religion. There is this great, very famous yoga guru, Swami Satyananda Saraswati, the head of Bihar School of Yoga. He died now, he's not there. He said, yoga should not be taught as religion. Yoga should be taught as science. Oh, don't tell yoga is religion. Yoga is not religion. Yoga is beyond religion. It has nothing to do with religion. They rush to say this. That means people don't have Shraddha, so somehow mark it. Don't to command Shraddha. To command Shraddha is very difficult because the society has been abused again and again in the name of religion. The society has been again and again abused in the name of God, in the name of spirituality. The spiritual industry is the one which has abused humankind to the most. So unfortunately, people are very incapable of Shraddha. But please understand, a mind that is considering doubt, the mind which is stuck in doubt. See, here we are not talking about healthy skepticism. Healthy skepticism means I have Shraddha in the means of knowledge. Because I have some Shraddha to certain valid means of knowledge, as long as my valid means of knowledge does not prove it, I am skeptical about it. There is a medical doctor living 2 streets away from here. He is a very good, let us say, he is a very good oncologist. But he also believes in natural medicine and all that. But he doesn't have a very big opinion. No, that is, he doesn't have a very good opinion about him in the market. There are a lot of criticism about him by the mainstream doctors. Why? Because he prescribes a lot of natural remedies. Does not send the person straight to the analytical lab to do X-ray, MRI, PRT, PST, all those things, all the different CT scan and all those biopsy, whatnot. So that, you keep on making money out of people's disease. That's what everybody does. And this person genuinely tries to care and all that. But what happens? You will go and waste your money with everything. But when it comes to this poor fellow who is trying to be there and do something, you will try to find defect with every little thing. So then what do you do? Before going to a doctor, what do? You are a little skeptical. But you have some means of verifying. There are some tools by which you can command some confidence. What you will do? You will see, does he have any? You go to the Google. How famous is he in Google? Then how much of testimonials are there? Then I saw one, how many I can buy testimonials. If I have enough money, if a person has enough money, you can buy any amount of testimonials. You have these, so the people can have there's a lot of testimonials, a lot of fancy degrees, FRCS and FCCP, all those different things from London. Looks like a good doctor. And then some kind of confidence comes. And then you go there, then you follow the treatment, then some result is there, and slowly your Shraddha develops. And then that doctor becomes a proven doctor. Even you may have the worst condition, or even you may have a mild condition, at that time the doctor failed in treating you a little properly and there was some side effect, unfortunately. Even the best doctor can make mistakes. Then you will say, there must be some problem. He's a very good doctor, I don't know why this happened. You don't question the doctor. And then you try to see what mistake you did, you try to discuss with him, reason out with him. And then the doctor, even if he recognizes the mistake, he will not admit it because his profession is at stake. If it is America, people will sue him for $1 million. So he will try to circumvent the problem and then try to bring him back. So, if you have Shraddha, you are ready to give the benefit of doubt even if what is given is a little unpalatable. Right? But to have Shraddha is what makes you available for anything. Even if it is difficult, you understand, when you compare, when you look around your life, you understand it is very important to have Shraddha if you want to be stable in any pursuit. Any pursuit, if you want to be stable, even entrepreneur needs to have Shraddha in what he has undertaken to do. A simple entrepreneur, you have the street entrepreneurs, There is a kid who buys a bunch of flowers from the piazza and then goes and sells in the street to the cars, this flower vendor. He has a lot of Shraddha. He puts his 20 on and gets a bunch of flowers and hopes to go back home with 30 on or 40 on. So he has Shraddha that every car is going to buy, every person in the car is going to buy from him. Constantly gets rejected. So until a certain point of time, the Shraddha continues. So without that Shraddha, he cannot pursue that for a certain period of time. So a person to succeed in anything requires Shraddha. So more so, Shraddha is required for Jnana. That's what we are going to see here. Agnyascha ashraddadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati. This is another very famous quote. Agnyascha ashraddadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati. Nayam loko asti na paro na sukham samshayatmanaha. The one who has no discrimination, the person who has no faith in the Shastra, and the teacher is this in bracket, I will put it like this: a person who has no discrimination, the person who is overtly covered by one's own preferences and who is incapable of faith, the person who is fundamentally incapable of Shraddha, for that person, and who has a doubting mind, perishes. Samshayatma vinashyati, perishes. Because for the one with a doubting mind, this world is not there, nor the world beyond, nor happiness. It's a very, very serious statement. Let us see what the Shankara Bhashyan says. So with this verse, we will conclude the class today. Agnyascha iti agnyascha anatmajnyascha ashraddadhanascha guru vakya shastreshu avishvasavan cha samshayatma. The one who does not know the true nature of himself, and ashraddadhanascha means this person has no faith in the words of the teacher and in the words of the Shastra. What Veda? It is another dogma. It is Hindu dogma. Vedas have the opinion that you are Brahman. Who says Vedas should be right? There are so many schools. It is the Advaita school. That's why they say no Advaita philosophy. If you say Advaita philosophy, that means no Shraddha. Advaita philosophy. Then you have Dvaita philosophy, Vishishta Advaita philosophy. Then you are a journalist who is reporting. Advaita philosophy says this. Dvaita philosophy says that. It is the faith. It is the belief of the Zen masters that it is like this. It is the belief of the Christian theologians. You become a news reporter. You will report, this is the belief of them, that is the belief of them, that is the belief of them. What do you think? Everything could be right, everything could be wrong. I take no positions. You go and talk to people in Scandinavian countries, in New Zealand, they are like this. No, I cannot take position. It's called skepticism, healthy skepticism. You continue to be skeptic, you die as a skeptic. You will not achieve anything in life, that's what they say. So these people who cannot commit to anything, this kind of people are afraid to commit to anything. And then you have this another Confucian industry based on J. Krishnamurti. They will say everything there is no. The moment you say you know, you stop growing. The moment you say I know, you stop growing. You are so sure. Because you are so sure, you become inert. You become dead to life. Which means he is talking about preconceived notions. This fellow will read J. Krishnamurti and get stuck. I am Brahman. Oh. How come this saint is so sure that he is Brahman? Something wrong. All this traditional knowledge is all child's play. I should be alive moment to moment. You are alive moment to moment all the time. Without any Shraddha, nothing will happen. If you are alive moment to moment, you will command a very good level of concentration, but nothing will happen. Because self-knowledge cannot come from being alive moment to moment. Self-knowledge can come only from Shastra. So the person needs Shraddha. So the person who does not have Shraddha in the words of the Shastra and in the words of the, all the time doubtful about the words of the teacher, the validity, the validity of what the Shastra says, validity of what the teacher, the teaching tradition says, you question the validity of that. That is what means not having faith. The doubter has a mind that entertains doubt. Samshayatmana samshaya chittascha vinashyati. Whatever you say, this person will doubt. Now, doubt becomes the fundamental value. He is talking about this. Not a healthy doubt. Healthy doubt means doubt pending discovery is a healthy doubt. Okay. Open mind. Let me see what happens. Let me see whether it is true. No, I make myself available for it. That's all. But fundamentally, doubting is a value. There are people for whom doubting is a supreme value. They will doubt everything. And they think it's very healthy. So that's what Shastra says very clearly. This person who is the victim of doubting, see, victim of doubting, fundamentally doubting mind, for whom doubting is more important than than arriving at a conclusion. For this fundamentally doubting person, there is nothing this person can achieve. that all these perish. All these people, fundamentally doubting person, the one who has no Shraddha in the teaching and in the words of the Shastra, they perish. Though the ignorant and the unfaithful perish, they do not do so to the same extent as the doubter. Here is a very important statement, Ajnana Shraddhadhano Yadhyapi Vinashyatah Na Tatha Yatha Samshayatma. Even the person who is ignorant perishes, in the sense he is lost. An ignorant person is lost in the forest of samsara. A person without faith perishes because he is not able to benefit from the Shastra. Even they are not as bad as the Samshayatma. Samshayatma means the one who doubts the fact that the self is there. Even if you say the self, the self, and you say, what, there is no self. How can, maybe there is no self. Now the Samshayatma classical example is, there are those who have a doubt, maybe what if there is no absolute self? What if consciousness is only an outcome of matter joining together? There is an illusion of consciousness. Brain creates an illusion as though there is a separate conscious entity. And then you have a lot of research in America that proves this. With the research I can prove anything. And then quantum research proves consciousness is there. So which one you will take? You do research on the brain. By analyzing the brain circuit, they have come to a conclusion. Consciousness is only an apparent outcome of a brain structure gone wrong. You think that you are an entity separate from the body. You have an independent psychological existence. Is an illusion created by the wrong wiring of the brain. This is the conclusion taken. So, you see all this and then you are doubting. What if there is no self? What if all this is only a huge religious conspiracy to make people escapist? So like this you can keep on doubting. Whatever you say, I can create a doubt for that. So that's such a person. Whatever you say, he is only creating a doubt. This kind of people perish in the worst category than everybody else. Nobody perishes so badly like this person. Because, why? Because Satu papishtaka sarvesham katham nayam sadharano api lokosti. For this person, even day-to-day world, this person cannot claim. This person cannot lay claim, means this person cannot achieve even normal day-to-day success. So too the next world to come. Neither is happiness his, about which also his mind may doubt. This person cannot enjoy any happiness because who is there to be happy? There is nobody to be happy. Maybe it's not happiness. Maybe I am deluding myself. Maybe I am thinking that there is a problem but I am trying to circumvent the problem by imagining that I am happy. No? So a person who is fundamentally doubting can doubt anything. No, it's like telling, mother says this is your father. How do I know it's your father? How do I know you are not? It's a big conspiracy that they have put me in this situation. That this guy, I have to treat this guy as your father. Maybe he is not my father. No? And then it will get worse. Now as genetic engineering improves, the person will not know what gene is inside. Bacteria is my father, frog is my father, or this man is my father. Because due to genetically engineered humans, you will take one little gene from here, another little gene from a virus, another gene from a frog, another gene from a dog, and then you make one man. The man who has an extraordinary sense of smell, because his smelling gene comes from a sniffer dog. So who is the father? The child doesn't know. So when you see all this technology, I think my father is basically a German shepherd, because I am a German shepherd in this time. It is not, the time is not very far away. In those days when DNA testing is not there, the only way to recognize your father is Shraddha in your mother's words. If she says he is your father, it's your father. No, but there is no DNA testing. What you will do? Okay, you look like him. What if your father has a twin brother? That fellow is my father and this fellow is my father, because I look like both of them. So doubting mind has no happiness in this world, has no happiness in the next world. So doubting is only valid up to a point. Don't make doubt into a virtue. Neither is happiness belongs to him, because this person may doubt even that happiness. Therefore, doubt must be discarded. Why? Only if you discard doubt, you can take the result of knowledge. Here, yoga sanyasta karmanam Jnana Sanchinna Samshayam Atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. The actions do not bind the person who has renounced action through yoga, whose doubts have been completely cut asunder by knowledge, and the one who is together as a person. This we will continue in the next class. So the different other conclusions about the knowledge. The fourth chapter is coming to an end. Another 2 more verses are there. With that we will conclude the 4th chapter. I think I can conclude. I have 10 minutes now. I will conclude the 4th chapter. So the actions do not bind this person who through the yoga, here yoga here means yoga sanyasa karmanam paramartha darshana lakshanena yogena sanyastani karmani. The person who has renounced the sense of doership, who has renounced all actions and result of actions, by renouncing the sense of doership, by the power of knowledge that of the self, okay? By the clear vision of the self, he has gone beyond the doership. Ena paramartha darshana dharma adharma khyani tam yoga sanyasta karmanam. Yoga sanyasta karmanam. This person has renounced both righteous and unrighteous action. How does he renounce works through yoga? By means of knowledge, by the perception of identity of the oneness of the self and the Lord. This person has cut asunder all the doubts. This one person who has renounced all sense of doership and all actions, who is vigilant and who works not as the operation of the constituent does not bind in his case. And who has renounced action. The one who has renounced action here means Jnana Sanchinna Samshayam, who all his doubts have been cut asunder by knowledge. Khatam yoga sanyasta karma iti, all the doubt being cut asunder by knowledge. Atma Ishvara Aikatva Darshana Lakshanena Sanchinnaha. Because of seeing the oneness between his individuality and Ishvara, that is, between himself and Ishvara, between the self and the Lord, he sees oneness, means he sees everything as one, which is the self. And Samshayaha yasyasa jnana samchinna samshaya. Okay. Sa evam yoga sanyasta karma tam atmavantam apramattam. Samshayaha yasyasa jnana samchinna samshaya. Okay. Apramattam Gunacheshtarupena. Apramattam Gunacheshtarupena drishtani karmani na nibhagnanti. Anishtadi rupam phalam na arabhante. This person does not do anything because he understands Gunesh Vartante. We say the different constituents of nature in the form of the organs of action and perception. They act on the different constituents of nature in the form of objects and situations. So objects and situations are different constituents of nature. Mithya, the organs of action, organs of perception, mind, etc. are also different constituents of nature, which is Mithya. One Mithya acts on other Mithya, which does not affect me, the Satya, in any way. Because of his knowledge, this person, understanding oneself as the Satya Atma, the self which is the Satya, does not do any action. By the virtue of this understanding, he understands that I am not the doer. That is the understanding here. And then they do not generate for him effects adverse or favorable, etc. Okay, this person, how this person's doubt has been slain? Yasmat karma yoga nishthanat asuddhi kshaya hetuka jnana samchinna samshaya. Here there is a verse which is also used in Paranjali Yoga Sutra. It says, Yoganga anushtanat asuddhi kshaye jnana vidya vivekakyati. Discrimination awakens in a person in whom all the impurities are cleaned by the practice of the different limbs of yoga. The same word he uses. Karma yoga anushtanat asuddhi kshaya hetuka. By that is affected by the practice of karma yoga. Okay. Karma yoga includes Raja yoga, for your information. I think we have discussed it before. The doubts have been slain with the knowledge caused by the this is the wrong translation. The knowledge which is made effective by the mind that is purified through the process of Karma Yoga, all the doubts have been cleared. Such a person is not bound by the actions consumed in the fire of knowledge. That means the actions don't have the seed to propagate the cycle of action and result of action. So the person is not bound by the actions. यस्माच्च ज्ञानकर्मानुष्ठान विषये संशयवान् विनश्यति. That is why the person, see this ज्ञानाग्निदग्ध कर्मत्वेन यस्माच्च, why the person destroyed, why the person who is doubting is destroyed? Because the person who has Shraddha is allowing himself to go through the process of Karma Yoga. See, the person who has faith in the tradition, in the Veda, in the teaching, allows oneself to go through the process of purification. Because I understand, I will not understand the true nature of myself unless my mind is prepared. Athato Brahma Jignasa. After acquiring the preparations, now inquiry into Brahman. So, the knowledge of yourself as Brahman cannot happen unless the mind is ready. So, this you have to trust the teacher, you have to trust the tradition. So, if the person, because he is able to trust the tradition, he is able to give the benefit of doubt to the teaching and is allowing oneself to go through the process of purification, then when the discrimination dawns, he is able to take the knowledge in and becomes free from action and everything. Okay. Now, the doubting person doubts the very efficiency of the knowledge and the very efficiency of the different dharmas that are prescribed, the different spiritual actions, the different procedures, disciplines, and the attitude of offering everything to the Lord, which is the yogic attitude. The different spiritual disciplines plus the yogic attitude, which is prescribed by the scripture for the purpose of preparing a person for knowledge. This Mr. Doubting Thomas doubts that. And he also doubts the efficiency of the efficacy of knowledge to remove all the action. How come if I know I am Brahman that I will not be bothered by anything? I will not believe it. What happens if the earthquake comes? You think the person with knowledge will not run? You think if I know that I am Brahman, I can do whatever I want? Tell me, show me something. Because he does not understand the nature of knowledge. So this person, even if I show, probably you are doing an illusion. Even David Copperfield can do all this magic. No? So for people who cannot understand logic, there are these avatars and these special beings who come and do some magic. That is, magic is for dull people. Because they are all barbarians, they cannot understand. You have to heal the sick, make the lame walk, make the blind see, make the mute speak. All this is required because people are fundamentally barbarians. So for them this is required. If a person is mature, you don't need to do magic. Logic is enough. So even among that, if a person is doubting, you can doubt even magic. Even magic may not convince you. Later, when the effect of magic has gone away, your doubt will start popping in. So this person does not trust the Shastra about the efficacy of knowledge. I have no clue about knowledge, but I am ready to question the effect of knowledge. And I question the efficacy of all. Maybe these are all different methods to exploit people. You just want somebody to clean your ashram for free without paying. So you are talking Karma Yoga. There will be something wrong. It's all fundamentally a system of exploitation. There's nothing different from my church. It's all the same exploitation in every religion. Every religion is corrupt. Every teacher is corrupt. Every tradition is exploiting. Religion is the opium of the masses. So all these things you will start saying. So you will not allow yourself to, that person does not allow oneself to go through the process of self-purification. So becomes completely incapable of acquiring the benefits of knowledge. Because he doesn't go through the discipline, he doesn't get the benefit of the karmas, nor does he gets the benefit of jnana. He loses this world which belongs to the world of karma, the spiritual merit. He loses the benefit of liberation which is the result of knowledge. So samshayatma vinashyati. So the person who has grown out of this doubting, childish doubting mind and is able to repose faith in the teaching, that person allows oneself to go through the process of purification and attains the supreme peace through the revelation of the knowledge and assimilation of the truth about oneself when it is given in the proper teaching. And the next one. Therefore, Bharata, tasmat ajnana sambhutam hृत्स्थम ज्ञानासिनात्मनः चित्वैनं संशयं योगमातिष्ठोतिष्ठ भारत. तस्मात् अज्ञान संभूतं हृत्स्थं ज्ञानासिनात्मनः चित्वैनं संशयं योगमातिष्ठो उत्तिष्ठ भारत. Therefore, Arjuna, slaying with the sword of knowledge this doubt about the self, which is born of ignorance, which is rooted in the mind, get up and take to yoga, practice of karma yoga. Yogam atishta uttishta bharata. Yogam atishta means may you be established in the practice of karma yoga and wake up, Arjuna. Now take refuge in this knowledge, and with the power of this knowledge, cut asunder this habit of doubting about the self, which is born of ignorance, which is rooted in the mind. So it is all a trick played by your mind. Don't give in to this self-doubt. Get up and commit yourself to the practice of karma yoga now. That's what he says. Om Tat Sate in Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidhyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Chaturtho Dhyayah. This is the 4th chapter. Om Brahman is the only reality. Thus ends the 4th chapter called Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, having the topic of renunciation of action through knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita, which is in the form of dialogue between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, which is the essence of all the Upanishads, whose subject matter is both knowledge of Brahman and the developing attitude of yoga, the purification process called yoga. So what is the commentary for this? Slay this most wicked doubt in the heart of the intellect, born of ignorance and lack of discrimination. Why you have this doubting mind is because discrimination is not operating, and it is the result of ignorance. It is there in the buddhi. Slay it with the sword of knowledge or right perception, samyak darshana. So shoka mohadi doshaharam.
यो देव सवितास्माकं धियो धर्मादिगोचराः प्रेरयेत्तस्य यद्भर्गः तद्वरेण्यम् उपास्महे.